What's going on YouTube? I'm gonna launch up the Facebook real quick and then we're gonna get it started. What's going on Facebook? What's going on YouTube? Hope you guys are having a good day. I apologize for the lighting, and on YouTube I apologize for the audio. It's going to be different audio. I don't have a connector for my microphone, but I want to talk about Jon Stewart and the lab leak kind of ramble he went on Stephen Colbert. I found it very interesting, very entertaining, and just the way the media is reacting. I think someone that's famous with the clout that Jon Stewart has going on a program like Stephen Colbert, which is mainstream cable, and just pretty much saying what a lot of people are thinking, that pretty much no corporate news has been pushing. So that's what it is. We'll probably take a listen to it if you'd like. And then I'll just read some stuff. I know Washington Post is going off about it, so I found it pretty interesting. What's going on? Let me just launch it up. What's up, Danielle? What's up, Angela? Give me a thumbs up on YouTube. I apologize I don't have my microphone, but I wanted to do a live stream or two. I'm away from my house for a few days. Someone said no one left like Stewart to tell the truth. What's up, Deborah? What's the late night stream? The late night stream. Yeah, I'm not going to have, I don't got my printouts, and, certain things are going to be a little bootleg for a few days, but I have some editing to do while I'm away too. What's up, Richard? What's up, Donna? What's up, Melissa? What's up, Tabitha? What's up, Brian? What's up, Desi, Chad? What's up, Bright and Shiny? All right, we'll start it off while people are coming in. So, how's my thumb? It's okay. I mean, it's healing, so it is what it is. First thing I want to talk about today, and then I'm probably just going to hang out, answer some questions, and do that. So, Jon Stewart, he went on a little rant. I'm going to play a clip of it right now. He was on Stephen Colbert, and he pretty much just said he was, he thought that the lab leak theory was accurate. I'll just play it. I think he says it better than I do.
Debt of gratitude. Ways help ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
So he said the pandemic was more than likely caused by science, which, the audience laughed. And then Stephen Colbert got nervous, like, oh, my God, I can't believe you just said that on my programming show. How are we going to control the minds if Jon Stewart says something like that? And then he just went on for 2 minutes and basically said, like, it's a lab leak or whatever, basically like there's a Wuhan lab, they're studying that. I mean, he compared it to a chocolate leak or something out of Hershey, Pennsylvania, pretty much just saying that he fully agrees with this. So, I'm just going to read a few. There's 2 Washington Post articles out about it today. One of them, it says, opinion, Jon Stewart's rant is a reminder. Don't rely on celebrities for COVID-19 theories. So I found that fascinating. Okay, if you guys want me to play it, I'll play the whole thing. I don't know the copyright rules on something like that, but I'll play it. So they're telling people now don't rely on celebrities for COVID-19 theories, except for every celebrity literally on the planet that's pushing the the jabby, as we can call it. So when they do that, celebrities are your best friends. But if Jon Stewart, the only celebrity that probably isn't just playing along to the narrative that they're all pushing, now they're writing op-ed pieces saying, Jon Stewart's rant is a reminder to not rely on celebrities. We'll play the clip for those who haven't heard, and then I want to read that article because I find it just hilarious.
And that's kind of no. Listen.
It's coffee. I wouldn't do that. I won't do that to you.
What do you take?
What do you mean? But do you mean like there's a chance that this was created in a lab? There's an investigation.
A chance?
Oh,
oh my God!
There's evidence out here.
There's a novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do we do? Oh, we could ask the Wuhan novel respiratory coronavirus lab. The disease is the same name as the lab.
So he's pretty much just mocking the fact that, they were studying novel coronaviruses in Wuhan, which I posted a Newsweek article. I don't know how much I could say about this, but, they freak out every time you say it. But Newsweek posted an article last year talking about the gain in function research out of that Wuhan lab. And apparently on YouTube, for those who are on YouTube, my channel got flagged recently. So now I have a warning. I don't know what that means. If I don't live stream for a week, I'll let you know. They're threatening to pretty much shut down my channel because I got flagged as my first, warning on YouTube because of a video titled Jeffrey Epstein found dead by apparent suicide. And I apparently was guilty of harassment and cyberbullying. So I was just literally talking about Jeffrey Epstein when he was found dead by suicide. I don't even know what I said in that video. It was so long ago. I think I was just reporting on the news of Jeffrey Epstein dying, and they flagged me on YouTube for harassment and bullying. So I apologize, Jeffrey Epstein. I know you're alive somewhere. No, I'm just kidding, but who knows? I'm sorry for bullying you. He doesn't deserve it. So I guess, I apologize to YouTube, for bullying your friends like Jeffrey Epstein or something. I don't know why they flagged me on that, but I find it pretty funny. So speaking of funny things, the Washington Post put out an article that says, opinion, Jon Stewart's rant, just is a reminder, don't rely on celebrities. It seems like a long time now, but Jon Stewart used to be an immensely important figure at the blah, blah, blah. And it says, but these days he's retired and only emerges from time to time. And because he's always delighted more in skewing Republicans, it was a bit shocking to see him go on an extended rant on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert about the coronavirus lab leak theory. This theory has become associated with conservatives trying to prove that former Donald Trump is right about everything, yet Stewart apparently thinks it's the only plausible explanation for the source of this virus. So this is a Washington Post article, and, he's basically like, we used to like Jon Stewart because he used to make fun of Republicans, but how dare him? They're trying to act like this is a partisan, issue, like talking about the possibility of a lab leak is only like a Republican conspiracy theory, which is what they use to cover it up. And the only reason that Republicans are the only ones talking about it is because Democrats, and people who follow shows like Stephen Colbert, no offense, but they're so programmed that, this idea that this could have happened, the whole media was like, you're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to think it. You're not allowed to type it. So it shouldn't be just a conservative issue. I just think for whatever reason, only conservatives wanted to talk about it, and everyone else tried to act like it was a Trump or anti-Trump sort of thing. Real quick, I want to read at the bottom of this article. It's pretty much trying to like cover it up, but let me see real quick, because there's this one part that really stood out to me. It said, it's not that. This is from the Washington Post article trying to smear Jon Stewart. On the lab leak question, I'm agnostic. Might that be where the virus came from? Sure, or maybe not. But it only matters for the historical record and questions like, what should international virology lab safety standards require? As a political question, it's pretty irrelevant. So this guy is admitting, I don't know if it came from a lab or not, but politically that's irrelevant. Who cares? It's like, I can't believe people actually read this paper seriously. Like, he's admitting that it could have come from a lab, but like, well, that's not relevant. Of course that's relevant. If it came from a wet market spontaneously from a pangolin or a bat or whatever, that's a lot different from it coming out of a lab in China and something that literally shut down the whole planet, for 3 months, 6 months, still happening. The vaccine rollout, the SIM cards, and this changed humanity forever. And this guy's like, yeah, it's just not important where it came from. Jon Stewart, how dare you even talk about it? It's politically irrelevant. It's like, I got to see who this guy is. I'm not trying to be mean. Paul Waldman. It's like, I wonder if this writer for Washington Post, if he really believes himself, like, yeah, it's only one of the biggest things that's ever happened ever. But who really cares where it came from? That's like irrelevant. it doesn't matter with politics. Yeah, okay, maybe we change our standards. It's like, bro, you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to accuse people of stuff, but at a certain point, you wonder if people like actually think this way or they're guided, to think this way. For example, Jon Stewart's not on television anymore, so he's pretty much free to say what he wants unless he cares about what other people think. So he goes on television and he doesn't talk to the corporations probably anymore. He doesn't have the script, so he just comes on and he's like, this is what I think. Whereas someone like a Colbert is like, whoa, 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 what? Like, it seems like they're getting a certain script. Like, if I'm at a hotel and I'll just watch Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, they're all saying almost always the same thing. Ukraine, Trump collusion, Trump. I remember watching, I was like, it's like a script. So this guy's just this Washington Post guy's just trying to like No, no, no. I mean, I'm going to read that again. Just like this is journalism in 2021. At least what they pretend is journalism on mainstream media. This is the Washington Post. On the lab leak question, I'm agnostic. Might that be where the virus came from? Sure, or maybe not. But it only matters only for the historical record and questions like what should international virology lab safety standards require? As a political question, it's pretty much irrelevant. I mean, who cares where it came from? I mean, bat, pangolin, lab. I mean, purposely by mistake, leak. Just don't talk. It's been such a cover up, and I think everybody can see it. It's not reporting. It's not politics. It's not a Republican thing to think that possibly this virus came from a lab. Like John Stewart said, the lab that does exactly what they are claiming uh, got released. But the media, Facebook, Google, it's like they're just desperate to just sweep it under the rug. And then after a year, when they can't sweep it under the rug anymore, now all of a sudden they're like, meh, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it could be, but who cares? Another thing that's like that, once again, I don't know if I'm supposed to to talk about this because I know how sensitive they get on Facebook, but I'm just gonna scroll down real quick because something else is reminding me of this lab leak theory, something that they told you not to talk about, that you couldn't talk about, that they censored you for talking about, and now they're admitting what people were trying to say a year ago. This is The Hill from June 14th. It says CDC says vaccine linked to heart inflammation is stronger than previously thought. And they're talking about young men and their threshold of studying exactly that heart inflammation that's happening. So if you are to suggest that that's happening like a year ago or 6 months ago, that's a crazy conspiracy theory, right wing. They make up all sorts of names. And as soon as everybody gets the product that they want them to get them and they do their own research and it's just too big for them to, sweep under the rug anymore, and they actually have to follow somewhat protocols and standards like they always do, but they lied about. Now all of a sudden they start talking about it, and I think there's a lot of people to be positive and optimistic. There's a lot of people who see this. Eric Weinstein is one. He's like a left-wing progressive. I would never consider him right-wing or conservative. Far from it. He's one of these like intellectual liberals or whatever. He's finally starting to come around this last year because I think he's not a liar, and he's been really, the lab leak thing threw him for one, and he was like, if they're lying about this, what else are they lying about? If they covered this up, what else are they covering up? So Eric Weinstein's been going in on so many topics when it comes to the pandemic, looking at the data, looking at the research, looking at the science that they want to cover up, and asking these tough questions. And I think his platform and my platform, the reason they're so upset is because they're getting more views. I think without Trump, a lot of these mainstream media outlets, they don't have that many views. They needed the hate from Trump and the whole show they were putting on. Now that that show's kind of gone, they don't have that much power. They don't have that much influence. And someone like Jon Stewart, is much more loved than a lot of these other people. He goes on TV and the splash he makes just from 2 minutes of talking is bigger than the splash that they've made in 3 months of just trying to cover up and being boring. So someone said Brett, not Eric. Is it Brett that's talking about the lab leak stuff? I don't know. Let me see. Weinstein. Sorry, I get them confused. Aren't they brothers or something? Weinstein. Let me see. Lab. I'll look it up. Yeah, I don't know. Brett or Eric. I apologize if I mix them up. They're brothers. They're kind of similar. But Brett? Okay. Sorry about that. Maybe I don't know what Eric's doing. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I just thought that was interesting. I'm not taking a full break because I have some editing and stuff, but I'm doing something for a few days. I'm on the road, and this is a story that stuck out to me because it's really just cracking the matrix in the programming. Like they say the same thing, and that's kind of part of the illusion. Is if you get enough people to say it, if CNN, NBC, ABC, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, like if all these people just say the same thing and the same thing, and then Facebook and Google, and then they just smear, right wing. They just repeat it enough, and so many people believe it. So just Jon Stewart, I'm not saying he's perfect, or I know there's probably people who disagree with some of his other takes. Just him going on television to, basically just destroy what they've been trying to push for so long in 2 minutes. You see like the panic of Colbert, and you see this. There's this other clip, if you could find it. I've showed it before, where Colbert is saying James Comey got fired. This is when Trump was in office, and Trump fired James Comey. everyone in the audience started cheering. It was like they were happy because they thought James Comey was like a bad guy, and he worked with Trump, because that's what the media was saying when he was there. And then as soon as Trump fired him, they were clapping. And then Colbert, you could see the panic, like he's like a maestro of like propaganda. Like he's like, no, 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 no. This is a bad thing. Now I know we told you it would have been a good thing, but now it's a bad thing. You know, Trump fired the FBI director. I mean, what the heck? And then like within 2 minutes, people went from cheering to booing, because it's like the narrative. You could see that it should be, that should be shown in school. That's like a lesson of propaganda mid 2 minutes. Get them to cheer and boo the same exact topic within 2 minutes. Just reprogram their brains to be like, no, James Comey bad, James Comey good. That's our friend now because Trump fired him. Now he's a good guy. And they're like, wait, but you told us he was a bad guy. They're like, well, I told you, now he's a good guy. And then, boo, yay, cheer, boo. And he's like a maestro. He's very talented. He's a very talented, skillful corporate guy. So with Jon Stewart, you could see him. He's like, whoa, 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 hold on. You know, just someone cracking the matrix of what they've been programming people. He's just like, let's simmer down now. We don't have all the data. We don't have all the evidence. And it's like, that didn't stop you of lying about Ukraine and Russia for 4 years. What, you know, you pushed the Russia thing for 3 years. And then the day that you lied, after 3 years of lying, you never apologize. You never admit it. You just move on to the next thing, the Ukraine and the right. It's such a stupid game that these people are playing. But that clip really was cool. Thank you, Jon Stewart. I know he has a lot of life to live, and I'm sure he doesn't even have to go on TV. So it's very brave. I mean, somebody like him to go on television and do something and say something that you know that they're not going to like, but more people need to do it. It's going to be popular. A lot of people like it. And I really think the general population is sick of this stuff. And once you wake up, once you see it, it's hard to go back. So they still have a lot of people under their spell using celebrities. And then one celebrity goes on TV to say the opposite, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, don't listen to celebrities, just listen to Jennifer Lawrence, The Rock, Chrissy Teigen. I mean, we have tens of thousands of celebrities who you should listen to. Just don't listen to like the 3 who say what we don't want them to say. It's straight up like straight up programming. And I'm going to read some comments and questions in a second, but this is an underreported, I think, aspect of what's going on is, you know, and I've been saying it recently in my last few videos. If you haven't seen my racism one or whatever, the last video I did, I think I showed it at the end, but they're replacing human beings with like computers and cardboard cutouts. And I think that's a part of what's going on that they're not reporting, where it's like they're programming people like robots. And then once you get in that zone where you're not really a critical thinking human anymore, they have no problem throwing you to the side. It's like, you know, if you're an actual human with a mind, a brain, and an independent thought, they freak out, you know. And these people who have been viciously programmed, you could see that they're locking down their cities more. All these Democrat cities. If you watch the NBA, Brooklyn, Lakers, that's New York, LA, there's a small amount of people in the stadium. Like they're still, you know, treating people like animals and prisoners, where they can only have a certain amount of people in the stadium. You go to the Republican conservative areas, they have a full, it's like human spirit. And it's not just attendance. It's like human spirit cheering real people versus a whole fake illusion that they're casting. They have, you know, they're replacing people with cardboard cutouts. They're just draping advertisements all over the thing. You mean nothing to these people. It's like once they turn you into a zombie, they just cart you off to the side. So I think, you know, when he breaks the mold like that, it's really like snapping people up, because they're hypnotizing people and then leading them towards a really wicked world. And, you know, in America, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because you have the liberal and the conservative and the red and blue states, and that makes us very unique. If not, we'd probably be locked down. We'd probably be locked down like Canada and Pakistan and France and all these countries that are having insane rules. You know, on one hand, I think without conservatives, we just wouldn't be there. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to read some comments in. This is a light stream. I apologize for the mic quality in YouTube. I don't have my adapter, and Facebook should be the same, just different setting. I don't have as much stuff on me, but I do have some stuff to edit. I'll probably have a new nice clean video later this week at some point. Let me see. Holly said, was the super chat, Dr. Shiva has been dropping truth bombs about Trump. I'd love to hear it, because I don't know what Shiva's been saying, but I would love to hear that. You know, I I think that's the next level of awakening is people who support the president realizing that he's just a Moderna and a Pfizer salesman. The dude is just running around selling these products. And that aspect of the lockdown, it goes hand in hand. You can't separate them because you like him. Like, oh, he has no idea about this stuff. He's just doing that to set it. It's like it's all in the same realm. But do I have a link to the job mud propaganda switcheroo? I don't know what you mean. You talking about the Washington Post thing? Someone said Ivory. Let me see. Ivory Hecker. Yeah, I saw there's a Project Veritas drop with a Fox News reporter. I listened to a little bit of it. That's just that's corporate news. Like you can tell that they have a certain script where, there's things you can and can't talk about. Like if you work for one of these corporations, they have sponsors. Who's one of the biggest sponsor on Fox and CNN? I would say probably pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals have so much money and they have so much commercial money. So if you're getting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry, how much are you going to want the people on your station to question them? And, vice versa. So, I saw some of it. I saw that they didn't want to promote Bitcoin to the black audience that they had or something. That's the clip that I saw. On one hand, I'm not saying that it's justified or right, because obviously corporate news sucks, but I don't know. To me, that didn't seem that crazy. I mean, I get why people would be like, oh my God, that's horrible, that's racist. But when you have a demographic breakdown of who your audience is and your corporate news, I don't agree with them. That's why I don't work there. I do what I want when I want. I don't really care. But when you're on, if they know a majority of their audience is a certain ethnicity or age group, that's all industry. That's marketing 101. It's like if you have 80-year-old audience, you're not going to sell them squirt guns for little kids. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa. If it's the NBA, you have different ads than if it's the game show network. So, I'm not saying that wasn't a bombshell, but they're like, her boss didn't want her to promote Bitcoin to like an audience that didn't give a shit about Bitcoin. You could say it's right, racist or wrong, but I don't know. To me, that didn't seem that crazy. And once again, I'm not protecting Fox News. I don't really give a crap about them. I just think that was a little bit of a reach. But as far as them silencing her for standing with the medicine and talking to doctors and stuff, that's definitely, a bombshell. But it's what they're doing. Any corporate news, any social media, they're all working together to push the same exact narrative, the same exact medical narrative, and certain things they need to get out of the way. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not saying they don't work or work. I'm not talking about it at all. But the hydroxy blank and the Ivor blank, those two drugs, I think they have big incentive to not talk about them, because if any of those do work or any of those are being used, it's a lot harder to get the emergency use authorization. In order to get anything emergency use authorized, like the Moderna, the Pfizer, and the J&J, you need to have no other cures available, no other approved, cures or treatments. So that's kind of part of it. So I think it's pretty clear I don't know if they want people to say this or not, but when it's all said and done, the reason Trump stopped talking about hydroxy, and the reason that they get so mad at the Weinstein, whichever one it is, Brett or Eric, and this lady at Fox, is because if any of these medicines are deemed useful, then you can't emergency use authorize the non-FDA approved jabs that they want to do. So, it's one big, cover up, really. I think one big scheme, Facebook, Google, Twitter, pretty much every politician, including Trump, he changed his tune real quick. He was saying it, then he played he threw us a little bone, but any of these corporate newses, they're like, don't you talk to that doctor? Don't you talk about this medicine? Don't you talk about this? And they're all working together to really control society. It's not a conspiracy theory when they lock down the planet. You know what I'm saying? When you're trapped in your house, when you're not allowed to go to businesses, when you're not allowed to go to restaurants, and you have Zoom, Facebook, Uber Eats, these digital companies making a fortune. I don't want to play hindsight, because we are where we are and we have to live in the present moment. But, all these people who are running circles around, I hate Trump so much, all these liberals, and I love Trump so much, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. It's like people squandered the last year, and it's like, Once you give these people this much power, it's going to be a lot harder to get it back. We're very lucky in America to have it back to some extent, but it's not over. The airlines, when are the masks going to come off? Never. They're never going to come off. You're never going to get to breathe air on an airplane again without a mask, unless people focus on this type of stuff and really make it a priority and stop running around politicians so much. So we'll see what happens, but it's so obvious what happened. All of them working together to lock the country down, rush a product that they wanted to inject into people. And then at that point, you're just a second-tier citizen. A good example of that, I think, is in France. There was a really good tennis match. I love tennis. Djokovic versus Nadal. Rafael Nadal. I forget Djokovic's first name, but they had this really sick tennis match, and it went past curfew. Apparently, there's still curfew in France. France is worse than Los Angeles. They got curfews, and the match was so good. The government of France decided, hey, you know what? Everybody could stay in the stands because technically they're supposed to go home, and they would have had to play in front of an empty audience. But the government decided, you peasants can watch Djokovic and Nadal because we allow you to. Why is that? It's because Djokovic and Nadal, they're not peasants. They're elites. They mean well. It's not their fault. I'm not blaming them, but they're elite athletes. So, the elite politicians decided you peasants can watch the elite athletes play, and then tomorrow back to curfew. Is there a scientific thing that says that on one day when you're watching a tennis match that the virus doesn't spread as much, and the next day, the curve? There's no science that says that. We're slaves now. We are slaves. We are peasants. You used to be a peasant and they took 20-30% of your taxes. Now you're a peasant where they could tell you go to bed at 8:00 like they're your daddy or your mommy. You're not allowed on the streets. You're not allowed at events. But if they deem that there's an event worthy of your viewership, then you can have it. We're not free anymore. France is not free. Pakistan's not free. Canada's not free. UK is not free. America is luckier than the rest of the world, but this is what is kind of creeping me out with politics. So, in the Trump world, it's all about the audits. And I think to some extent it is important to have a fair election. So I'm not mad at them. But it's like I feel like Trump programmed people just saying the same two things over and over. And I'm thinking to myself, these people are desperate to bring back 2020. They want 2020 Trump so bad, but he's the one who brought this all here. So if your only goal, you're not talking about the lockdowns, you're not talking about the masks, you're not making it a point to get our freedoms back. You're trying to bring back the year that we lost all our freedoms, and the leader that has shown so clearly that he cares much more about bragging about the warp speed jabs than he does actually standing up for military members, teachers, students, people who are being forced this. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't care at all. So that's the part that really creeps me out is, we have the freedom movement in America just running circles around the guy who kind of tossed it aside. But, I'm blessed to be in America. I'm grateful to be here. And I would say, don't be afraid, but definitely be keen to understanding, like, we are fortunate in America, even if you're in a blue state. And this is not the case. Not the case in France, not the case in Germany, not the case in the UK, not the case in Canada, not the case in This is not the case almost anywhere. Like, we're the last of the Mohegans for a lot of the Western world. And gotta really think about it and gotta really, consider it, because now we're just kind of here, and at any moment they could try to take us down. Let's see. I heard there was some sort of, I'm just going to look this up real quick. Sorry, I stretched out. I worked out a little today. I drove, but I heard that Delta shut down their airlines or something. Let me see. There was a whole airline shutdown. Like, this is creepy. Let me see. Airline. Yeah, Delta Airlines flights diverted after off-duty flight attendant causes disturbance. That's creepy stuff. Southwest. All right, let me see this real quick. Someone said I don't know what you guys said. Someone said California and New York is more open than Washington State. Yeah, I mean, it's even Washington State is probably better off than Canada, but yeah, these liberals, they're bad news. The liberal cities, anywhere you get like a hive mind of these people, their culture is now like enslaving people, and I don't say that lightly. Slavery is real. You know, millions of people have died. There have been genocides. There have been slave trades. I don't take any of this lightly, and I'm not comparing this to any historical event, or else I'd have to be on an apology tour like Nick Cannon or Marjorie Taylor Greene. She bowed down. You know, I'm so sorry. She was at a Holocaust museum. I'm so sorry for comparing this. Man, does anybody not bow down anymore? But anyway, the point I'm getting to is I'm not comparing this to a historical event, but I'm just saying like slavery means losing your freedom, being forced to do things against your will. You know, lockdowns are slavery in my opinion, and it's like a slave culture. Like you can't go here. There's a curfew. You can only work here. Okay, so when 100,000 restaurants get wiped down, now what? You know, what is that? What do we call this? Lockdown, quarantine? These are prison terms. Someone said Southwest shut down, computer glitch. Okay, so let me see. Southwest. Well, Delta had one too recently. So now Southwest systems issues continue a second day. Southwest Airlines ground entire fleet amid computer outage. Crazy stuff, folks. It's going to get real. It's definitely going to get real. Someone said COVID-19 is weird. It is weird. And I think, make sure you stay calm, stay cool, and keep your head, whether it's family, friends, outdoors, whatever it is that keeps you human, because I think this is part of it. Obviously, the mental abuse of it, but they're ushering in a digital world. I keep bringing this up in videos because I haven't seen anyone bring it up. I like the NBA. I know a lot of people probably don't want me to watch because they're sellouts, a lot of them. But they're at the Clipper game, they have cardboard cutouts in the stands, and then the halftime show is Oculus. Oculus is a virtual reality. You put a virtual headset on. I've used it. It's crazy. And you get what I'm saying? Like they're replacing humans with cardboard cutouts. And then the sponsor is virtual reality. And then you look in the stands where people used to stand, and they have huge advertisements draped over the stands. One of them is virtual reality. This is like a human replacement, and they're replacing you with computers. Well, now you don't have a meeting. You have a Zoom call. Now you don't have your restaurant open, but Uber Eats will bring you food. They're taking away the human element out of society. And this is not random. If you think it's random, then you could think it's random, but it's happening. It's not a theory. It's like they're replacing humans with computers. They already were. And then COVID just sent it into overdrive and just kind of skewed reality where everyone's on their computer, everyone's on their phone. They took away things that would get you off your computer and your phone. This is one thing I hate when I go to restaurants. They try to get you to scan. When I go to a restaurant, I'm on my phone damn near. I don't even want to say how much I'm on my phone. It's disgusting. So when I go to a restaurant, I don't want to use my phone, but now they're taking away the menus. I can't even have a physical menu. They want me to scan my menu. This is just part of the AI, digital takeover where it's like there is no physical menu anymore. There are no waitresses anymore. They have masks on their face. You can't even see their mouth. Well, why don't you just get an Uber Eats? Well, why you don't have to go to the basketball game. There's the virus there. Why don't you just look at the cardboard cutouts that replaced you and, watch the Mark Zuckerberg Oculus Rift halftime show? Like, it's so obvious to me what they're doing, but I think a lot of people, they don't want to think it's happening. So we're grateful to be here, but I would love to see people realize this, because the whole masks and, it's all leading towards this. Someone said, looks like things are changing. It's going to get better. I'm glad I'm in America. I'm just going to put it this way. You're not going to see me out here complaining too much. I'm looking at UK. Wouldn't want to be those guys. No offense. I feel bad for my UK supporters. Canada would not want to be Canada, so I'm grateful for the most part. Pakistan issuing, shutting off your SIM card if you don't get a vaccine. That's some crazy stuff, man. So America, that's why they want to strip our culture, and that's why they hate Republicans so much. You see me, I am so annoyed at Trump and a lot of conservatives, but if there are no conservatives, if there is no American culture, we are enslaved right now. We are locked down harder than Canada, and it's only the conservative culture that they're trying to strip out that's keeping us free. And this is not me kowtowing to Republicans, but is it not obvious that if it were up to liberals, if this country were controlled like Justin Trudeau, we'd be locked down. Our country would be destroyed. So, you know, it's pretty crazy. Thank you, the missing link. Let's see what y'all are talking about. It's a live stream today. I don't want to do too much. I was gonna take a day off, but I can't leave rap alone. The game needs me. Someone say World Economic Forum, Cyber Polygon. Yes, worth a watch. Are they doing a new one this year? Let me see. I know the last year's one, it's all happening. It's like, maybe this will happen, and then it all happens. Digital Polygon 2021. Let's see. When is it? Yeah, when's the next one? I got to get my tickets to the Digital Polygon conference with Klaus Schwab. He's like, there will be a lot of hacks. There will be a lot of computer outages. And it might happen. And then it happens. And then they're like, you can't say that happened. He didn't know. He was just guessing. It's like, okay, well, he's got good vision then. I'm not saying he did it. I'm just saying Klaus Schwab is a legend. The dude's up here, he's spot on with anything. He throws on an event 201 and the entire thing pretty much plays out the next year. I'm not blaming the World Economic Forum and John Hopkins. I'm just saying they have very good vision, because they'll say, if you talk about event 201, they'll say, fact check. No, that's a conspiracy theory. They didn't predict it. They didn't predict anything. They just did a simulation. That's what I'm saying. I didn't say they predicted it. I said they were preparing for a coronavirus pandemic, and it happened. I'm just so impressed with their knowledge and wisdom. I want to go. Who can get me a ticket to the Cyber Polygon conference? I'm a Klaus Schwab fanatic. You might see me there with the Klaus Schwab sign. Klaus Schwab, Klaus Schwab. He'll be like, who is that? What? Is somebody a fan of mine? Dude, I'm your biggest fan. They're like, why are you my fan? I'm like, because you're always right, bro. You say something, you throw an event, Davos, bang, it happens. They say something at Davos, next thing you know, it's reality. I'm like, I'm your biggest fan. You guys are out here crushing. Like, billionaires just hanging out, talking about things. Next thing you know, it happens. Like, I'm just a big fan. I have a Klaus Schwab jersey. That's my way. Because if you talk about it, they're like, fact check. No, this is not what it was. They didn't know. They didn't know. They did not know. Event 201 did not know. Yeah, they did a simulation for a coronavirus pandemic in 2019, but they didn't know. They just were guessing. Fauci said that there would be a pandemic during Trump's, a term, but he didn't know. He was just guessing. Fauci said that you shouldn't wear masks, but then he said that you should wear masks. So you're not allowed to say that he shouldn't wear masks because you should wear masks. And Fauci said you should wear masks, and Fauci can't be opposed. Even when Fauci opposes himself, you have to agree with the Fauci we tell you to agree with. It's like, these people just, they don't stop. Danny Flowers said, I'm a waitress and I keep getting robot startups in my newsfeed. Flippy the robot cooking and an R2-D2 looking robot running food and busting tables makes sense after they killed the service industry. Yeah, think about what they did outside of what they would say is a conspiracy theory. They destroyed millions of restaurants. They changed the service industry forever. They pretty much eliminated it. And then when they brought it back, they made people cover their breathing hole and their nose and their mouth so they look like a robot. You might as well, like, not you, but it's like, might as well have robots serving me because I can't talk to anybody. I can't hear them when they talk because the cloth is in their face. I can't see them. They don't smile. They're training people to be replaced. They'll say it's a conspiracy theory. It's a right-wing conspiracy theory. The Tucker Carlson saying that white people are being replaced, and it's like, listen, this is intersectional. Okay, it's not just white people. It's intersectional replacement. So I'm so not racist when I talk about it. I'm not like Tucker. They're doing it to everybody. They're replacing everybody with robots and computers and AI. So they wipe out half the restaurant industry or 10%. And then they bring back the other 90% and they dress them up like little, you can't see their face. They're dehumanizing people and conditioning people to, one, be replaced, and to, two, not ask for humanity. If you watch a Utah Jazz game, the Utah Jazz has pretty much 100% capacity. It's electric. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could feel it. It's awesome. And then you watch I watched the Brooklyn Nets game today. it sucks. I mean, KD was going crazy, but there's like there's no fans there because it's New York. So they're depriving their own city of like an electric event. They're sucking the humanity out of the basketball games. You know, it's they're sickos. It's not scientific. Someone said there's a McDonald's out in the Midwest where there's no people and humans. What a ridiculous. Someone said this is the biggest psyop ever. For sure, Randy. It is absolutely. Someone said anomaly, you're a lot more calm in this setting. It's chill. Well, I'm sitting down. I'm trying to be quiet because I don't know how loud this room is. But also, I worked out today for the first time in a while. Let's see. Someone said KD played so well. Yeah, he played insane. Such a good game. Someone said the international super elite is our government. I saw a really funny meme on Twitter. You guys know the G7 where they all stood like here. You had Boris Johnson, what is it, Slow Biden, Justin Trudeau. You had all the leaders. Someone captioned it and it said the Rothschilds chess set. I was like, that's funny. The Rothschilds chess set. They do look like a chess set, don't they? They're on these little squares and they're spaced out. It looks like a little Rothschilds chess set. Or somebody said President Xi Jinping or whatever his name is from China, but I like the Rothschilds one. It's funny. I better watch with those jokes. They're gonna end up having me on a Marjorie Taylor Greene apology tour. So can't make fun of the Rothschilds. You'll see me at a Holocaust museum. I'll walk out crying and be like, I'm so sorry for sharing a Rothschilds meme. I don't know what got into me. There's nothing comparable to this event. Nothing. The Rothschilds are so victimized in this world, and I just feel sick to my stomach that I ever even thought about sharing a meme. Gotta get me on that Marjorie Taylor Greene apology tour. You see her? She apologizes every 2 weeks. I saw someone tweet that Marjorie Taylor Greene apologized more than Ghislaine Maxwell. I think Patrick Howley tweeted that. It's pretty funny. I think it's probably true too. Listen, I condemn my former self. I can't believe I shared a meme. I don't know what I was thinking. I need to go on a Nick Cannon, Barry Weiss book tour. I'll read her book. I'll do reports like this Magic School Bus or something. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Listen, I don't know what got into me. Oh man. What's up, Nikki? Sorry. I need to put this on something because it's getting hot. The surface is getting hot. Hold on. I'm just going to hold it up for a second. All right, I'm going to stay for like 10 more minutes. Someone says, Kamala president yet? No, just be patient. She'll be there soon. Is this all a distraction? I don't know what you mean by this. Someone said, I like MTG. I haven't heard about her apologies. She apologized. I don't know. She didn't actually do anything wrong, but you know, the redacteds got to her, so she had to go on an apology tour. She spoke at like a Holocaust museum today, and she was like, I guess she made a comparison saying that what was happening in America was bad, and you know they got to her, so she had to go to a Holocaust museum, and she came out and she was like, there's nothing like that. I'm so sorry for comparing this. And it's like, Marjorie, it's fine. You don't have to apologize. It's okay. She didn't say anything bad. I just think she compared what's going on to COVID. Honestly, I don't even know what she said, but in advance, I'm not apologizing. So what did she say? What did she even say? She just said that how people were being treated with like mandatory vaxes or something was equivalent to like World War II. I don't know, something like that. Who cares? Someone said, dude, the redacted lobby is harsh. Yeah, they're so harsh that they pass speech laws to suggest that it's not happening, because nothing says I have no power like everybody apologizing when they say you have power. It's such a joke. Let's see. Here, I'm just gonna hold this up for a second. Do I know John Doyle? He has a video on how to take back America. I do not know him. I've heard the name, but I don't know much about it. Someone said Marjorie Taylor Greene is why people don't take conservatives seriously. I mean, I don't know about that. I think in some cases, you know, like, I don't know. It's like, what does it mean to be a serious politician? Like that was, sorry, I just got to fix this. That was the big criticism of Trump, right? He's not political. It's like, what does it mean to be political if you're just a liar, you know? To me, Marjorie Taylor Greene's not the problem. Like, she's a little crazy, you know, but whatever. At least she has somewhat of like a, she has somewhat of like a pulse, you know? It's like, is she the most proper person I've ever seen? No. But all these other people, they're just like professional liars. So like a Trump or a Marjorie Taylor Greene, to me, that's refreshing. To other people that are like, that's why no one takes us seriously. I was like, I don't want to be taken serious. You know, I don't want a suit tie person just lying all the time. Like, if that's serious, I don't want it. But my problem with her is not, it's not the fact that she's a little crazy. My problem with her is that she apologized to, she had to apologize. It's like, just stop apologizing. I'm so tired of people bowing down. Same with Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon just, you know, went off about white people, and then he said something about the Rothschilds, and, you know, he said something about Jewish people. And as a white person who's partially Hispanic but mostly white, I don't want Nick Cannon to apologize to me. Like, if he really feels that way, he should be able to say it. I don't need an apology. Let me know how you feel, okay? And then we could go from there. But he didn't apologize to white people. He had to go on like a rabbi apology tour. He did a Barry Weiss, who's like a Jewish, you know, New York Times reporter. He did a Barry Weiss book report. He talked to this rabbi. It's like they had him on the Jewish World Tour, like he's on tour with Matisyahu, you know, King Without a Crown. We want Moshiach now. It's like he had to apologize. And same with Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's one group of people you do not want to mess with. And I'm not out here trying to be the you know what word. I'm just saying, like, that group does not play, okay? They'll make you go on an apology tour if you compliment them. You could give them a compliment and be like, yo, you have a lot of money. They're like, that you can't say that. That's anti-Semitic. You're like, you don't have a lot of money? They're like, no, that's anti-Semitic. You have a lot of power. No, that's anti-Semitic. No, you don't have a lot of power. That's anti-Semitic. You exist. That's anti-Semitic. You don't exist. That's anti-Semitic. It's all anti-Semitic. So you just, you know, you gotta watch your tongue, or else you're gonna be on a Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nick Cannon, you know, book report tour. And you got to go to Holocaust museums and talk to rabbis and, you know, read Barry Weiss books that nobody wants to read. I mean, some people might. She's got some good takes. I don't dislike her. I'm just saying that is one group of people you just don't want to mess with. Okay, so luckily I'm not in politics or entertainment to that extent, because I've already said everything offensive I have to say, and in advance, I do not apologize because it's funny. Someone said Roger Waters. I saw that clip of him talking to Zuckerberg where he was like, F you or something. I saw that. The guy from, was it Pink Floyd? He was talking about Zuckerberg wanting to use his song. That was a cool clip. What's my opinion on Jenner? This is such a winnable election, and I feel like she's the perfect candidate to lose. She's the perfect candidate to lose it for everyone. But Pink Floyd, don't play with Instagram. That was a really good clip of Roger Waters talking about Instagram. That was cool. What do I think about TYT losing their shit? Excuse my language. I don't know, dude. Sank is a joke. He's a liar. Jimmy Dore, he's a better guy, I think, out of that too. So they're beefing because Sank is playing this role of, I'm a progressive Bernie guy, but he's an establishment guy, you know, doing his thing. Sank, they can't do anything for me, Young Turks. They're a joke. But I like Jimmy Dore better out of that whole thing. Someone said Roger Waters hates Trump. It's okay. So do I. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know he's progressive. He's like he's a little annoying with the politics, but listen, you got to give someone a thumbs up if they do something good. I'm not trying to go down this guy's whole political history. I'm giving him a thumbs up on that specific video, and the rest, listen, we'll talk about it at a different time. Do I think they murdered Magafuli and Carrie Mullis? That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, on one hand, I think Carrie Mullis, the timing of his death was suspicious, the inventor of the PCR test. On another hand, Carrie Mullis was a wild guy. I mean, he definitely was a wild guy. So, he lived into his 70s. I'm not saying he couldn't have lived longer, but he was definitely a wild guy. So it's not that shocking to me that he would pass in his 70s. Given the lifestyle that he lived. The Magafuli one to me was a lot more suspicious. Anything's possible, but Magafuli was the head of Tanzania who went really hard against the COVID agenda. Anything's possible, but I would say I don't. I know what you know. I just know the headlines. If I had a guess myself, I would say Magafuli got more than Carrie Mullis, but I don't know. Anything's possible. I don't know anything about it. Thank you, Zero Stampede. Hold on, let me see this real quick. Someone said Facebook blocks the links from notifications. Yeah, apparently Facebook's screwing with me a lot. It is what it is. Like they go through phases. So yeah, apparently no one could click on my links and it won't work. So thank you to everybody who still finds my live streams, even though they're making it more difficult. That's all I could say. I don't know what else I could really do. I guess I could eventually build off of it, but someone said Alex Jones is the real life Eric Cartman. I don't know if I've ever heard that. They have similar cadences, I guess, but have I seen the Brett Weinstein video about that's what did I say Eric Weinstein or Brett Weinstein? I get them confused because they're brothers, right? I haven't, but I've seen his tweets, man. He's doing good work. What's his name? Brett or Eric? Which one? Brett Weinstein? Yeah, he's doing good stuff, man. I appreciate him, Remember when Jimmy Dore spit in Alex Jones's face? Yeah, that was a low blow. That was a scummy move. That was a wild video. Yeah, thank you to everybody on Facebook. I know they're apparently sometimes people can't even search for me too. They hate me on Facebook because I did so well and I'm still doing so well. So they don't have a reason to do anything about what I'm doing. So they're just trying to hide my shit because I keep beating them. On YouTube, they went back 2 years and they gave me a warning off a live stream I did 2 years ago about Jeffrey Epstein. It's like unbelievable. I don't even care that much about YouTube. I mean, I like YouTube, but it's not really a big breadwinner for me. So obviously I appreciate YouTube. I think I have 6-7 million views, but I'm doing better on Instagram and Facebook. Someone said he interviews the inventor of mRNA vaccines. Pretty shocking. I did hear about that. Shout out to, what is it, Brett Weinstein? I keep screwing it up. Sorry, they confuse me, those brothers. But whichever Weinstein brother it is, he's crushing it, and we appreciate him because I don't care about politics. If you go at the medical tyranny, I'm gonna like you more than Trump. Okay, I know he's a progressive. I don't care. Glenn Greenwald, Russell Brand, Naomi Wolf, I like them more than Trump. I don't care that they're liberal. This is time for America. If you care about America, you got to start cracking the code of the lockdown and the medical tyranny. If you're not cracking the code of the lockdown and medical tyranny, what are you doing? I unironically like Eric Weinstein, Naomi Wolf, and Russell Brand. I like them more than Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, and Trump. Unironically, even though they're liberal, they've done much more to save America from medical tyranny than some of the top conservatives. So I appreciate that. You know who does a good job, dude? Jordan Shatchel. I don't know how to say his name. Jordan Satchel, I think his name is. I follow him on Twitter. He does a great job. I like anybody who talks about that. I don't care if we disagree on other stuff. It doesn't matter to me. Just talk about that stuff. Someone said Russell Brand is breaking the mold for liberals. He's having a great year. I love Russell Brand. He's doing more for America. I don't care if he's a commie or a socialist. I don't even care. He's cracking the code on the left for all this stuff. He gets it now. You know, at a certain point, the corporations are working with the government. So acting like Ben Shapiro, oh, BlackRock is not doing that much. It's like, shut up, Ben. No offense, but it's like, you know, oh, it's not a free market, bro. They shut down the country with Republicans, so it's not a free market. So, you know, you can say it's the government. You can say at the top of the pyramid, it's the corporations and the government. And Russell Brand gets that. He's not being a stupid commie and saying, oh, I don't understand what's going on. Let's get free healthcare. You know, Russell Brand's not doing that. He's like, let's talk about the World Economic Forum. Let's talk about the lockdown. I'm like, finally. Because some of my progressive friends, they get it and some of them don't. But it's like, dude, you got to stop talking about the Green New Deal when we're being locked down. I mean, you can if you want to, but, you know, Naomi Wolf crushing it. Russell Brand crushing it. Eric Weinstein crushing it. Unless it's Brett Weinstein, excuse me. I got to learn their names. Sorry. I feel ignorant, but let me see. Is it Brett? Brett Wein. I got to follow him. Brett Weinstein. Yeah, it's Brett. Let's see. Yeah, it's the Brett one. He's going all in. He's retweeting Eric Clapton was talking about the jabs. Brett's retweeting that. That's a good man. He's on the side of the light right now. Someone said, anomaly, what if the PCR test guy's alive hiding somewhere? Are you saying he's like Tupac where he's secretly alive? He's probably dead, to be honest. I think the PCR test guy, but I guess anything's plausible. I'm pretty sure he's dead, though. You like my T-shirt? Someone sent it to me, American Apparel or something. I run USAProductsOnly.com, and we sell American shirts, so they gave me that. I like it, too. Someone said, my basement's flooded. Cleaning up, listening to Anomaly could be worse. God bless you, 21 SNC. Let's get it. Mop, mop, mop. We mopping. I'm just kidding. I'm not. Is that helpful or is that ignorant? I think it's funny, but, you know, listen. Soon you're going to have a dry basement and we're going to be hanging out, and it is what it is. Sometimes it floods. Sometimes it doesn't. You got it. It's Eric. Yeah, Eric went. Oh, no. Now you're saying it's Eric. What if it's both of them? What if people are trolling me? Okay, listen, Brett Weinstein, he's talking about it. Let's look at Eric. Is Eric talking about it too? Let's see. I think they're both talking about it, okay? Let's just chalk it up the whole Weinstein family. Not the other Weinstein, but yeah, they're both talking about it. See, people were trying to make me look bad. Eric's talking about it. Brett's talking about it. The Weinstein brothers, not Harvey Weinstein. He's out doing God knows what. But Eric and Brett, they're hanging out. They're talking about lab leaks and vaxes. And, you know, I think they're both doing it together. I'm looking at both their Twitters. They're both on it. Yeah, listen, give credit to that whole family, just not their deranged cousins. No, I'm just kidding. Can we get a freestyle? Probably not tonight. I'm doing something cool tomorrow. I don't like to announce my moves, but I'm doing something pretty cool. I'm blessed. I'm fortunate. You know, life is good. I feel very some cool stuff's been happening, but I like to keep a low profile. I don't announce all my moves. You know what I'm saying? I just pull up somewhere. I don't like to telegraph it. Dialogue Progress said, hey man, saw you on Jesse Lee Peterson. You killed it. Anyway, thank you. Anyways, man, I'd like to ask you about your most optimistic view of the future. God bless. Well, thank you, Dialogue Progress. I appreciate it. Jesse Lee is a fun guy. He's very funny. Yeah, I mean, listen, the future is what it is. You can't change what's going on, but all you can do is be the best version of yourself. So I think it's been such a crazy couple years, but I don't know. My optimistic take is hopefully you're in America. If not, God bless you. But it's a special place. I think we seem to be ahead of a lot of other countries, and I don't know. I think if enough good people step up, there's good people everywhere. Everybody's just afraid. Everybody's just, nobody wants to rock the boat. So I think once the tides turn and the pendulum swings, things can open up. I'm sorry if that was a bad answer, but it's been such a crazy year. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm not too concerned, or I'm not too worried about it, I guess I would say. Someone said, you won't battle me though? I will. Who is that? David? All right, David, if you throw a rap at me, I'll battle you. All right, deal. Throw me a rap on Facebook and I'll battle you. What do I think about BlackRock buying trillions in real estate, well overvaluing regular folks? Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely part of the scheme, like at a certain point, I think, they're part of the scheme. It's not just the government, it's like big corporations. So what are they buying up all the property that people foreclosed on or that they can't afford now because of COVID? I don't know the exact situation. I just know they're buying up all these family-owned properties. Yeah, it's definitely alarming. Angel said, I am dating a good intended man who doesn't seem to understand medical tyranny. He's a 16-year-old Army vet. So much respect, but it's tough. Well, God bless you, Angel. Yeah, I mean, that's on you. I'm not Dr. Phil. I can't help you with your relationship, but God bless you and your boyfriend. Someone said Shapiro approved. Yeah, Shapiro's the only, every conservative is like, we shouldn't let BlackRock buy up all of our property in America. And Shapiro's like, well, technically you should be mad at BlackRock. It's like, bro, Shapiro pops out of his hole like a groundhog to just give the most terrible takes at the most important times. But he's so conservative until it actually matters. And then he always just has these trash takes. He's like, I mean, America would be better if BlackRock owns all the family-owned businesses. You're like, no, it definitely wouldn't. But America, I don't know. I think we have, China cares about China. Russia cares about Russia. America has been culturally and so many socially torn apart 50 different ways where, we're sloppy. I think the future of America really is America first. Not to say we don't love the whole world, but, there needs to be a singular or at least a, common goal of like, we love our country. We're not going to collapse to China. We're not going to collapse to foreign countries and bad actors domestically who want to screw up our prosperity. That's got to be the future. Dialogue said, you said when the pendulum swings, how soon, how bad? I live in Canada, but I moved to Calgary in hopes that citizens with guns can save me. Laughing face, laughing face. I don't know, man. I don't have a crystal ball. So I think I don't know what's going on in Canada as far as I'm not there to really weigh it out, just what I see. It really matters if enough people, do something. That's what it is. Like one brave person can change the world, right? 10 brave people can change the world. Millions of brave people can change the country. So it depends, in Canada, I don't know who's doing what. Maxime Bernier, Chris Sky. I don't really see that much else, but the one pastor. I don't know what the future is, but I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you, my brother, but stay strong, stay motivated. And also I think trying times, you could start a business or, do something that elevates you. I don't know. Anytime things get bad and crazy, there's always room to grow. I did a Twitter thing. I said, during the pandemic, who made more money, made the same, made less? Most people on my Twitter made more or the same money. Obviously, some people lost money, but despite all the crazy stuff going on, some people seem to be able to capitalize on it in some form, and maybe you have more free time. Like before I broke my thumb like an idiot, I was working out more and I still want to, but it's harder to do now with my thumb. But, I don't have as much access to things as I did, but it's really a mindset. So if you just use it to your advantage and be like, I'm not going to let them shut me down. I'm sure that there's certain things open that you can do, but yeah, I don't know about Canada in the future. Sorry, my man. Someone said I bought my first car. Congratulations. Tom said they demonize being a nationalist. Well, yeah, because they need people to hate the country in order to take it over. So I used to think nationalism was this crazy word until you read it and you're like, oh, it just means you love the country. But if you don't love the country, they could take advantage of it. So it's like people in Los Angeles, they don't even like Los Angeles. Like, oh, we love the world. We're saving the planet. Save your own freaking city first. If you want to save the planet, save your own city. How come you guys can't even clean up downtown Los Angeles? How are you going to clean up a third world nation? You can't even clean up your own city. So, a lot of the liberal traps is like they make you hate yourself, hate your city, hate your country, hate your skin color, and then you just become annoying and you become a drain on society and you don't even realize it. You're running around acting like you're going to save anything, but you're destroying everything. So when it comes to America, any enemy, domestic and foreign, if you don't have like a singular goal as a country, you lose it. So, in that way, America is kind of in bad shape where we're so divided. We don't have that goal and culture. And when you try to push that, they call you a racist, they call you a nationalist or what, they got all these names to try to smear you as, but that's why they do it. Everything that's good, the media and this group will try to act like it's the worst thing in the world. Meanwhile, they're doing the weirdo. I'm not trying to be mean. Maybe I shouldn't say this because I'm already getting flagged on my videos now for YouTube, but I keep seeing these TikToks of like liberal type people where they're like, I'm coming out as this or that, and everyone's cheering. And I look at the person, and no disrespect, I'm saying, God bless them, God bless their family, but you look at them and you're thinking, and it's like you can see the mental health issues and you can see like the physical health issues where, you can make all the excuses under the sun. It doesn't matter if you vote for Trump or Biden. It's like if you're depressed, you got mental health issues and you're completely out of shape. It's like it doesn't matter what you identify as. Like that might make you feel good temporarily, but a lot of these things are masks for actually just like doing the right thing. It's like I'll just get in with this group and we'll do this game. And it's like that's cool, but at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. So if you're running away from the truth, it's like it's only temporary. And that's why these people become so wicked. They get attached to these agendas that are like so horrible. And you're like, what? You don't care about yourself. You don't take care of yourself. You don't take care of your city. You hate your country, and you just become like a walking demon. For example, they had the one chick on CNN who was like graduating from high school or college. And I feel bad for her because she's just a product of what she learned, just like I probably was in high school, to some extent. But her big thing was railing against the abortion bill, the heartbeat bill in Texas. I don't believe they made abortion illegal. I think they put a set date because in certain liberal states, they go further and further and further. And while they're trying to do before birth, second trimester, third trimester, during birth, you even had like Ralph Northam. He's talking about like resuscitate the baby, which means keep the baby alive, resuscitate, bring back, and then make a decision. It's like while liberals are doing that, conservatives are trying to draw a line. Heartbeat, okay. Before the heartbeat, that's fine. After the heartbeat, no more. She makes her whole life about, standing up against the heartbeat bill. So it's like CNN makes her this hero. They're like, oh my God, she's a hero. And it's like really what she is like she's making her whole life about trying to end the heartbeat of fetus turned into a baby. Even if you're pro-life, at a certain point, it's like, is that what you want your legacy to be? You want to fight against a heartbeat? Like you're going to become a wicked person. Like even when I was pro-choice at a certain point in my life, and someone's like, well, if it has a heartbeat, I'm like, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I probably, I wasn't that crazy into it. Like if someone's like, it has a heartbeat, I'm like, okay, well, if it has a heartbeat, that's fine. I understand why you'd want to keep it alive. This girl's like, I'm against the heartbeat. It's like, that's liberal activism. She's like, I'm coming out as Todd. That's great, but like, is that the problem in your life? If it is, then amazing. It's solved and you're going to live a happy life. But if you're masking all these other problems in your life as, this social justice problem, and you surround yourself by like pathological liar people who act like they're intersectional, but they stab you in the back, you're never going to be happy. And that's why these people are miserable. And then they get duped and, It's a whole crazy cycle. But I do think the world is segregating now. Not I'm not talking about racially. I'm talking about like mindset wise, where the left and the right, there's obviously people being tricked on both sides. But I really think the modern right is attracting yoga teachers, fitness bros, people who, if you work out, they're saying it's a right wing conspiracy theory. It's there's nothing right wing about working out. It's just if you work out and take care of yourself, you're blasting through all of these left wing nonsensical things like wear 2 masks and lock down and get fatter. And it's like, nah, I'll go to the gym. Thanks. So like, oh, the gym bros, what COVID, a right wing conspiracy theory. I mean, how dare this guy get fit while we just get morbidly obese and get diabetes? It's like, what? So they're acting like doing the right thing is right wing. Well, the right wing talked about the lab leak theory a year before us. Well, they were right. At least they were right to question it while you were covering it up. So that's 1 for the right wing, 0 for the left. Like, you get what I'm saying? The new right wing, it's like a mindset. It's like a segregation mindset where the left, their minds are just becoming disgusting. So you're starting to see people and you're like, they're starting to look disgusting. And there's disgusting people on the right too. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, at a certain point, like John F. Kennedy would look at modern day liberals and just be like, what in the world are you doing? Like, I even think Obama, 2008 Obama would look at liberals, and he's even said, even though he's far left, he'll be like, I don't know what you guys are doing. Like, he's still a good actor where I don't know what they're doing. They just keep getting grosser and more crazy where it's not like, oh, I want welfare programs. Like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I want to lock you down. It's like, okay, now you got to come. Well, I want to lock you down. I want to lock you down, but I'm going to change my gender and lock you down. It's like, I don't care what you do, but this whole culture you guys have is like super not it, So healthy people mentally, I think, are starting to realize that the left is like super toxic. It's like a toxic friend, It doesn't matter their politics. Like, you don't want to hang around certain people. And there's bad people on the right too. I'm just saying, like, someone that has compassion and also spent many years with left-wing ideology. That's why I think my videos are so effective, because I don't act like I don't remember what it was like to think that way. I remember. I never thought this way. I was never this crazy. Even when I fell for all these left-wing lies and traps, I can't relate to what you guys. I always liked sports. I always supported, to some extent, the Second Amendment because I understood about government tyranny and just foreign tyranny. The fact that if we ever got invaded or we ever got in a war, it's just good. Every other country knows that we have the Second Amendment versus if you got in a war with Australia or something, it's like, they're all on an island. They're all unarmed, for the most part, or countries like that. It's like, you're sitting ducks. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's like they're masking all their issues with like all this crazy backward social justice, and it's just turning them into like it's a weird vibe. All right, I'm gonna do like 12 more minutes, then I'm gonna roll out. Someone said 35 million hunting licenses sold last year. Oh, they sold so many guns last year because people aren't stupid in America. It's like lockdown, quarantine, government telling you can't go to work. Yeah, guns. People bought guns like crazy. Like, that's where, that's what makes America unique. Like, they feel like no matter what they do, the Second Amendment still stands and the First Amendment kind of stands, but the fact that we have that culture allows us to have some freedom here. Someone said, I thought Australia has guns. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me see. Does Australia have guns? Let me see. Does Australia have guns? Okay. I guess to some extent. Is gun ownership increasing? And I don't know. They have some laws, but I guess they do have some sort of guns. My bad. Someone said, I'm so glad you called Trump out on pushing the jab. He sold the people out. Yeah, I know. I'm glad you like it, dude, because people freak out when I talk about it. So thank you. I appreciate your support. I'm not out. I don't have a high school dance to go to like they ever. And I'm not saying people go to actual high school dances. I'm just talking about like everyone goes to these events and they're like, oh, I'm going to Mar-a-Lago. I'm going to TPUSA. It's like that's dope. You know, there's pretty girls there. You know, guys get dressed up. They have a good time. But it's like people don't want to admit that their side of politics kind of caved. You know, it's annoying to me, but it's okay. Someone said Australia pretty much banned guns, but no one turned them in. I thought they did ban guns. Exactly. Yeah, I guess they didn't fully collect or something. I don't know. Yeah, I know they have laws. They're stricter than America's, but I don't. I guess they have some. Dialogue equals progress. Said I followed you from the beginning and from left to right with you. I witnessed the move, and I was happily surprised you came along towards Trump minus the jab. I agree. Why are they pushing them? I mean, honestly, I don't know. I think Trump just ended up being like Doug Ford or Boris Johnson. You know, like people voted for Doug Ford. They thought Doug Ford was a Donald Trump. He was gonna, you know, he ran on that policy. I'm gonna make Canada great, blah blah blah. And then Boris Johnson, oh Brexit, we're gonna stop the break. It's like they turned into puppets. So I mean, I don't know why Trump does what he does, but he's a Pfizer and a Moderna salesman. And here's the thing: I don't want to spend too much time because people are gonna cry in my comments, but you know, it's not that, oh, well, Trump said they're not going to be mandatory. He spends every television appearance bragging about it, and he says nothing, never. I've never heard him say anything, any real stance against the tyranny of it and against the forcing of it. So he sees that it is being forced on millions of his own supporters. He brought it here. He brags about bringing it here all the time, and he says nothing. If I could rate him 1 through 10 on bringing the vaccine, a 9 or a 10. I mean, he wants credit. He did it. He gets a 9 or a 10 for bringing the vaccine. If I could give him a rating 1 through 10 of fighting mandatory vaccination or at least taking a stand as a leader against it, I would give him like a 1 or 2 out of 10. So it's like, that's the point I'm trying to make is like, is he doing it personally? No, but as a leader, he gets 9 or 10 out of 10 for giving and selling the vaccine, and he gets a 1 or 2 out of 10 for opposing mandatory vaccination. And by the way, that's why there's not a bigger push in America for it, because he controls tens of millions of people and he's controlling them to just run in circles. But it's okay. Everybody, you know, people who get mad at me for saying that, they'll come around. I've already seen people say, I got mad at you. I agree with you now. You know, people got mad at me last year for saying this in March. It's all good. What's meant to be will be. People get frustrated, and then one day they'll realize that I wasn't lying. Someone said his last speech, he said, let me see, his last speech, he said, you are free to choose. Well, that's a lie. You're not free to choose. So he's lying in his speech. He spends no time. There's millions of teachers being forced to take it. They're being held for ransom in the military and at West Point. They're being things taken away from them if they don't do it. There's millions of teenagers who are being forced to take in this country. So the fact that the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine salesman goes on stage and says, you're free to choose my vaccine. You're not free to choose, and he doesn't care. So stop making excuses for the wicked vaccine salesman. It's so annoying. It's like, but he said he's fighting Mark Zuckerberg. Well, he lied to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Daddy Trump lied to you. The big fraud in chief lied. Well, he said he was going to fight big tech and drain the swamp. Well, instead of draining the swamp, he drained America. So he said he was going to drain the swamp, and then instead of draining the swamp, he locked the country down with Fauci and Dr. Birx. So he said he was going to drain the swamp, and then he drained his own support base. He said he was going to fight big tech, but instead he took meetings with Mark Zuckerberg. He said he would take on big pharma, and then he ended up being their biggest salesman. He said that there was a big bust at the end going to happen for all your favorite or least favorite pedophiles. Instead, it was his own supporters who got set up at the Capitol. So the fact that he got on stage and said that you're free to choose, I'm sorry that he lied to you. Stop making excuses for the liar in chief. It's So annoying. Marie Warner said, "You're an inspiration. I pray to God you will continue to spread the word of Jesus Christ. We need more young guys like you. God bless. God bless you, Mary Warner." And I'm gonna wear my Jesus shirt later today, later this week for you. Someone said he did. Hillary's not in jail. Of course she's not in jail. Trump supporters are going to jail. People followed Trump to the Capitol thinking Trump had some big move for them, and they ended up going to jail. So the Hillary didn't go to jail. Trump supporters who loved him and worshipped him and went to the Capitol for him, they're the ones going to jail, not the deep state. He's selling their vaccines. But it hurts people's feelings, so they love to just be like, well, he said that they're not mandatory. Who cares what the vaccine salesman said? He lied to you. So get over it. Polarish said, my buddy was just forced to take the vaccine. He's in the Navy, and they wouldn't let him take or leave otherwise. Glad I got out of the Marine Corps. No, I know that you're either being, if you're in certain military areas, they don't let people go to the gym. They don't let them leave the base. So in situations where they can't force people to take it, they're holding them for ransom. So if you're a leader of the conservative movement and you're not talking about that as one of your top 5 points, you're not the leader of the conservative movement. You're the leader of the clown brigade, And that's what Trump is. He's a big clown marching in circles, and people just run in circles. He's not fighting for his people. He's not fighting for his supporters. He's not fighting medical tyranny. He's selling vaccines like a clown. But, people love a good clown show. They're like, he's my favorite clown. He said he was going to do things that I wanted, and then he just didn't. It's like, okay. So if I want to watch a clown show, I watch Tom and Jerry. Tom, Jerry, they run around each other. The Roadrunner, Coyote, that's fun for me. Watching Trump the clown pretend like and then everybody in the Trump is, oh man, if we could just replace him with Joe Biden at the G7 summit. Why? So you could replace a dementia clown with a clowny vaccine clown. It's like, who cares? Joe Biden's losing his mind. But replacing him with Trump so Trump could just stand there and pretend like he's fighting for you, who cares? Someone said anomaly don't start. Oh, I might start. I might go for 20 minutes. Someone said at work they require a mask, and if you don't have the jab, I will. Yeah, the mask thing is crazy. I mean, the Republicans this should be their number one point. Like, literally, like, not just saying, oh, you can do what you want. Being like, no, this needs to leave the country. This is tyrannical. It was like 2 years ago where people were like, oh my God, Sharia law is going to come. Oh my God, the Muslims are going to bring Sharia law. It's like, no, instead, both parties brought science law, not literally science, like, Sharia law, which is everybody wears a mask. Everybody wears a mask on a plane. Millions of people are getting forced vaccination. It's like, this is here, and I can't take any conservative seriously unless they're pushing against it. If they're not pushing against it, they're just a clown to me, and they need to get out of my way because I'm tired of the circus. Turkle said the mask mandate in Denmark was pulled Monday morning. I went to Baker's with a mask. People looking at me strange. I don't watch mainstream media, so I missed it. Well, congrats, Denmark. Enjoy the fresh air. Someone said secession is the future. Read Nullification by Tom Woods. I'll check it out. Did I ever watch Yuri Bezmenov videos? Yeah, I just shared one on Facebook today. I did a whole breakdown of some Yuri Bezmenov. Someone said Noahide law's imminent. I mean, that's a whole nother story, but not really. Kind of goes hand in hand. Latehana said, anomaly, get your groupie before I wreck them. I don't know, Latehana, you're typing in all caps. You're all angry. I'm chill. I'm having a good time. I don't know what you're so mad about. So you got to calm down. You don't like when I talk about Trump or something. You freak out, but you still come here and you hang out for hours. So you got to figure it out. This is a good comment. Let me see. The Second Institute said, Anomaly should just join Project Veritas so he can do journalism instead of professional complaining. That's funny. That was good. First of all, Project Veritas, they do a lot of like whistleblowing. So I don't know. I don't know how much, I guess that is considered journalism when they publish it, but I don't know. I think I hold my own with my journalism videos. I definitely come live and just talk a lot, but I think my video earlier this week, which it's got 150K on Facebook, 150K on Instagram. That's 300K total. I think that's a great journalism piece. I think I would get a Pulitzer or Nobel Prize if they weren't reserved for liars and Jeffrey Epstein's friends. But I don't know. I think I do more than complain. But people love me until I say the truth about Trump. Then they cry. All of a sudden, I'm the worst person in the world. All I do is complain. Okay. Well, I complain about Democrats, and you guys loved it. I say one thing about Trump, people cry. Someone said we need Trump. Mary, you need Jesus, Mary. You need to stop. She typed in all caps, we need Trump. We do not need the vaccine salesman, Mary. Look at the cross. You need Jesus, okay? We do not need the Pfizer Moderna clown. I don't want the clown, okay? You take the clown. I don't want the clown. So you need the clown. I don't need the clown. This country does not need the clown, okay? We don't need Pfizer Moderna clown. Listen, okay? That's not what our country needs. If you want America to be destroyed, then yeah, ask for the vaccine clown back. If you want America to go in a direction of freedom, you can't have the guy who took it away in 2020. But, that's another story. Latahana said, I want the clown. Then just watch TV. They got Blue's Clues and Krusty the Clown in The Simpsons. There's clowns all over television. Why do you want to put one back in the White House? I don't want a vaccine salesman in the White House. Curtis said you have lost lots of viewers from hating on Trump. I'm not hating on Trump. I'm telling the truth about him, which is inconvenient because people would rather let their country be destroyed and alter and fabricate history and not stand up for themselves rather than just tell the truth about Trump. He didn't lock up the deep state. He locked up the country. He didn't arrest the swamp. He got his own supporters arrested. There was no big finale that he saved the world. He sent America spiraling towards communism. And the only thing he can do now is sell Moderna and Pfizer vaccines for the deep state. Trump is a clown. So have I lost followers? Sure. Do I care? Not one bit. I haven't lost a second of sleep about it. I had 1.5 million on Facebook. Now I have 1.4 million. Wah, I don't care. It's still more than I ever should have probably had in the first place. So, I don't care. I don't care if I lost 500,000 followers. The truth is Trump sold vaccines and shut the country down. So people don't want to hear, oh, it's Fauci, it's China. No, it's Trump. Trump and the GOP did more damage to China. Did more damage to America than China did. All these Republicans, they think we're so stupid. It's China. I know. I get it. The virus came from China. But they did more damage to our own country. They didn't have to shut down. Look at the death rates. Who did the PCR test? Who brought the PCR test here? Did China do it? No, America did it. Trump did it. Fauci did it. Birx did it. The Democrats did it. McConnell did it. They all did it. None of them talk about it, not even DeSantis. Did China bring the PCR test? No, American politicians brought the PCR test. Did China print trillions of dollars and shut the country down? No, that was both parties. Did China lock the country down? The virus is, in my opinion, less damaging to the country than what both parties did to the country. So they think we're so dumb, just like, oh my God, we need trillions of dollars from them. China's laughing hysterically at our piss poor leadership. How come China's not giving mRNA vaccines to their country? Trump is the biggest salesman for mRNA vaccines since Bill Gates. Bill Gates wishes he could sell vaccines as good as Trump. Trump is the best vaccine salesman. It's not the Fauci ouchie. It's the Trump pump. It's the mRNA Trump pump, the synthetic mRNA Trump pump. Those are the vaccines. So how come Trump's selling those ones and China's not? How come China's not doing that? I wonder, did China make Trump do that? How come they're not doing it to themselves? That's what they do to you. It's China. It's as the Republicans sell out the country. No, it's the Republicans, and it's who they're working for, which is not China. It's a different country they work for. I'll give you a hint. Which country do you have to apologize for when you mention them? The country that never mind. Let's get back to no, for sure. Yeah. It's China. Tony said, have you heard 1962 book Plot Against the Church, worth a read, understand history of communism and Freemasonry? I haven't, but that sounds like a great book. Someone said it's better to tell the truth than to hold up a false god. Yeah, I mean, people would rather watch America get destroyed than tell the truth about Trump. It's sad. I mean, it is what it is. It's okay. I need him back. He needs to come back. Who else is going to sell Pfizer and Moderna vaccine? If Trump's not in the White House lying to us in 15 days to slow the spread and I'm going to catch Fauci. I just put Fauci on television for 2 months. You know, Fauci didn't have to be on television for 2 months. Trump put him there. It's Trump's conference. Trump elevated Fauci and made him a bigger superstar than during the AIDS epidemic. And now a year after Trump said, I'm going to catch Fauci. It's like Tom and Jerry and the Wile E. Coyote. Trump's going to catch Fauci and Zuckerberg. You got to vote him back in office. He's going to, he locked the country down instead of the deep state by mistake. But if you give him 4 more years, he'll stop selling Pfizer and Moderna vaccines for Fauci. It's like, he's not fighting Fauci. He's just putting on a Tom and Jerry show. And people are like, we need him back. We need him back. He was this close. He was this close to arresting Fauci. He was so close. No, he's selling Fauci's vaccines. Literally. The NIH owns part of the Moderna. Trump loves selling the Moderna. Trump is such a clown. It's fine. I don't care. I hope I lose 10,000 followers. Oh my God, you're losing followers. Awesome. For calling Trump what he is, a vaccine salesman. Someone said Rand Paul called out Fauci. You're damn right he did, but Rand Paul will never call out Trump because it's political suicide, folks, for Rand Paul. The Republicans love Trump. Rand Paul goes on stage with Trump. So Rand Paul has to act like it's just Fauci doing this. But he does a good job. But yeah, I get it. You know, you got to blame Fauci and China and never admit that it was your own party also that ushered it in. I get it. It's a big show. Mike said the THC is wearing off. No, I'm not. I don't smoke weed. I'm not high. Sorry to ruin your marijuana fantasies. Someone said true, but his little dances he did at the rallies were lit. No, his dances were awesome. The YMCA dance. I remember it. He was dancing, saying after he sold his Pfizer Moderna, dance, 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 and then he told his supporters, he said he's doing YMCA, YMCA, and I'm there, and I'm like, man, he's killing it. He's doing the dance, the Y, everybody go YMCA, which is like a funny song to dance to. But anyway, he's dancing. He's saying Pfizer, Moderna, and all his supporters are listening to Lynn Wood and Mike Flynn and Mike Lindell telling him Trump's going to be in the White House. We're 100% sure we have intel. Trump's going to be there. I'm 100% sure it's the deep state, January 6th. And all these Trump supporters are like, YMCA. They're like, oh my God, Trump's fighting the global pedos. Oh my God. And Trump's like, follow me, guys, come to the Capitol. I'm going to do a big speech there, and we're going to win the election. Mike Pence is going to overturn the election. Everyone's like, yeah, YMCA. Trump's going to overturn the election. Oh, my God. Mike Lindell told me he's got my pillow intel, secret Trump intel. We're going to go to the Capitol, and Trump's going to overturn the election because Mike Pence has the power to do that, even though he obviously doesn't. But I'm so brainwashed by Trump that I think Mike Pence is going to overturn the election. So then all these millions of supporters, and then 50% of them literally think Trump's going to win, and then he doesn't win, and now a lot of them are in jail. So the deep state never got arrested. Trump did his YMCA, Pfizer, Moderna dance, led all his supporters to the slaughter, and now most of them are either rotting in jail, got interrogated by the FBI, got their houses raided, or got harassed and, politically targeted. And Trump is sitting there saying, I did the vaccines. I did the vaccine. Yeah, what a winner. What a winner that guy is, man. What a great leader. Yeah, we need him back. I think most of the biggest Trump organizers are either going to jail or in court right now because Trump led them to the slaughter. But it's okay. I'm sure he'll fight Fauci if he gets into office in 2024. He was this close. I mean, the only way to fight Anthony Fauci is to sell Moderna and Pfizer. I mean, you can't fight the globalists unless you take their vaccine and sell it to the entire world. I mean, that's the only way to fight the globalists is to become them, sell their product, do a dance and get your supporters set up at the Capitol. YMCA. Trump supporters go to jail for daddy vaccine. Someone said anomaly, not cool, making fun of us. I went to an event too. I'm making fun of myself. I mean, why? How come I can make fun of liberals? I can't make fun of conservatives. I'm laughing at myself too. Is that okay or no? You'll get over it. It's pretty funny. Someone said, Trump said he wanted the jab for those who wanted them, then recently said he hopes all his supporters get it. Daddy vaccine loves his vaccine more than he loves his own supporters. Daddy Pfizer and Daddy Moderna will sell out America for Pfizer Moderna. Daddy Trump worked with Daddy Bill Gates and he sold the vaccine and said his supporters should get them. Daddy Trump doesn't care about all the millions of Americans who are getting forced vaccinated. Daddy Trump is going selling vaccines for Bill Gates, but Linwood said maybe one day he'll be back, and Mike Lindell's selling them pillows on television with Jimmy Kimmel. If you can't trust a pillow salesman who sells his pillows on infomercials, who can you trust? How dare you? How dare you not? How dare you not trust Mike Lindell? If you don't trust a pillow infomercial salesman with a huge thick mustache, then what's your problem? What, do you not love America? Do you not love Jesus? You don't trust Mike Lindell? I mean, I know he said he was 100% sure multiple times and he doesn't understand what that word means, but I trust him. Anomaly, what's the last event you attended? I know it wasn't January 6th. I went to one of his rallies before the election in Arizona. And that, to be honest, I went to the White House one year for the Hispanic Republicans, but I've never been to a Trump rally before the one in Arizona. I wanted to check it out. They got me a ticket. I got backstage. It was very exciting. It's just disappointing that he just turned into a vaccine salesman. But I had faith that maybe he would turn it around after the election, but he just never did. I'm gonna read this. Someone said, "Who's being forced vax? You say people are being forced." Scott, I'm gonna repeat this again because I know Daddy Vaccine doesn't tell people, so people think it's not happening because they live in Florida or something. But millions of teenagers are being forced with the option: either get a vaccine or you can't go to college. Are they physically getting a vaccine forced in their arm? No. But if they take away a college education from a college student, many of whom are on their second or third year, that's pretty much like being forced. So you're either forced to get it or you're forced out of school. Millions of people, millions of children, even though they have, the side effects are more than the CDC thought, and they're being forced into that. And Daddy Pfizer and Daddy Moderna doesn't give a shit about kids in this country. He's a wicked man. He's not just a clown. He's a bad person. I know people don't want to hear that because it's their idol. Oh my God, don't talk about, you could have a better conversation with my Muslim friends about Allah than you can with Trump for certain Trump supporters. I don't think he's a good person anymore. I hate to say it, but if you're going to sell this product as hard as he is and not even say anything about the millions of children who are being coerced, forced, held for ransom over a vaccine, you're not a good man. You're a bad man. You're a bad clown. Very wicked clown. And he knows it. He's not dumb. He knows it. And this is the sad part. The people who get mad at this, Trump has tens of millions of people who idolize him, who love him, and who look up to him. And Daddy Vaccine knows he's being a con artist. He knows it. You could tell in the way he holds himself now. He's not confident Trump anymore. He's a sad clown. He's like a clown with all the makeup smeared all over his face because he knows that he has tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, of people looking up to him for a savior and for help. And he knows he's leading them down the wrong path. He knows it. He's not stupid. He knows what he's doing. How come you guys don't know what he's doing? Because you could tell in his voice. He's not happy like he used to be. He's a sad clown because he knows that he's deceiving his base. He's deceiving America. I could tell when he talks now. He's like a disgraced clown who is just reading a script. It's very sad because he used to be a real man, a good man. Now he's a wicked man. Anomaly, do you also accept criticism from people who mostly agree with you? Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm an honest person, so if you say something that's honest, I like it. If you make fun of me and it's funny, I'll read it if I see it. Like that one guy said, Anomaly, you suck. You should work for Project Veritas. That was funny. Whatever he said, that was like a comic bar. Was that criticism? For sure, but it was funny. I'm honest. Good criticism is achieved, but everybody has an opinion, and not everyone's opinion. It's not. Everyone has a thought. So yeah, I like a good criticism. Someone said my kids will stay virtual because of the vax and mask. F these idiots who are treating us like circus animals. Here's all I'm going to say. Listen, Trump aside, I know I had a little moment, but at the end of the day, millions of kids are being held for ransom over a vaccine. If you're a man in this country and you're just hanging them out to dry, you're not a good man. I don't care if you're Trump. I don't care if you're a father of one of these kids and you're sending them off to prison camp, school to do what they're told. Like that's where I draw the line. I'm sorry. I don't need a god. I have one already. I don't need a politician to look up to. I look down to them if they're this wicked. So that's what's going on in this country. Millions of kids are still being forced to wear masks. Millions of kids are being coerced over the vaccination in all 50 states, by the way. It's happening across state lines. They're trying to finesse their way into anything. And the leader of the free world doesn't even make this a top 10 priority. In my opinion, terrible leader, false leader, and just not a good person, and that goes for anybody. It doesn't, nobody's special or above it. Like, if you don't care about this, our country is morally just being degraded. Someone said, so why do I think he changed? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on what and who and why, but I feel like at a certain point, the truth of what's going on, people don't want to hear. So you can't force people to hear things. And in general, I don't know the inner workings of what's going on. I can't tell, but that's not my position. I think we need to take a moral stance, like, especially with the children. Like, now they're twerking in Times Square. It's like, this is all part of a moral degradation of America. Obviously, liberals are very complicit in it, but I feel like the right, we're just playing in slow motion. So at a certain point, there's going to be enough men who stand up, and women and mothers who just say no, and where that is, I'm not sure. But I think if people haven't reached the point where they put their foot down in the last year, I don't know where, but that's where I put mine down, where it's like, as a leader, if you're going to be a leader, especially in politics, and you're not making medical tyranny a top 5 issue, and you're not making, it's one thing to take a vaccine if you want it. If you're 70, 80, 60, 50, and you choose out of your own free will to get the mRNA vaccine, that's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. But if you're 19 years old and you're being told you can't go to Rutgers unless you get a vaccination, that should be criminal. This is sick what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? These kids are 19 years old being coerced and held for ransom over a vaccination that's not even FDA approved yet. That's emergency use authorized with technology that has never been released before. And now they're saying, well, the CDC, there's more heart disease than we thought. Well, what happens if you're one of those 200 or 300 kids who got forced into doing that and coerced into doing that because they held your whole life over their face? So as a man and as a political leader, if you're not talking about what I just talked about, you're not a good person, or you're not a good leader. I don't know why. You can figure out why they did it or who told them what. I just don't care. This is crunch time. Like, there's kids looking for help. There's families looking for help. There's workers looking for help. Our country's looking for help. And, I'm not looking up to a leader who's part of the problem. Trump did more to bring the vaccines, to bring the lockdown, than he did to fight against it. Trump ushered in all this stuff, from the CARES Act to the emergency order to the lockdown to the Operation Warp Speed. And now that it's all here, he wants to make his whole clown show. I brought it. I did it. It was me. I rushed the FDA. I rushed Fauci. If what Trump is saying is true, and he rushed the FDA and he rushed the vaccine, and Fauci wanted to wait 4 or 5 years, that means Trump is a horrible person. He's worse than Fauci. If Fauci said, let's wait 4 or 5 years, and Trump said, no, let's get this out now, then Trump is a demon compared to Dr. Fauci. That makes Dr. Fauci look like a saint compared to what Trump is bragging about. If he is truly the reason that this vaccine came this early, Trump is a wicked, horrible person who knows exactly what he's doing. But chances are he's probably lying. He's probably lying. Did he rush the vaccine? Probably not. He probably has nothing to do with the FDA or Fauci. He probably just stood there, signed a paper, and wants credit for it like a big egotistical clown. He's not in the lab studying mRNA. He's not releasing it. You think he has the pressure to rush the FDA? Probably not. He's probably just putting on a clown circus show where he's trying to take credit for one of the dumbest things that our country's ever done, and one of the most costly things that we've ever done, because this was always going to be the thing: the lockdown, the vaccine, the mandatory, the digital passport. You can't separate these things when they were all in the works and in the pipeline at the same time. So the fact that he's doing a little vaccine dance and people are following it, while millions of kids, who probably, many of which who probably even voted for Trump, are like, I can't go to school as a Christian conservative girl. If I don't get this vaccination, they won't let me into school. And they look up on the TV, and Trump's not saying, wow, there's millions of kids who are being forced this. He's just saying, I did it. I rushed it here. I brought it here. If it was up to Fauci, it's 5 years. I'm so tired of him. He's such a wicked guy. And the fact that people don't want to hear that, I don't care. I hope I lose 10,000 followers. I'm not going to lose sleep. I promise you. Someone said 9 new billionaires created. Oh, for sure. Someone said, bro, take a drink of water. You haven't had anything this whole time. It's okay. I'm used to this lifestyle. Someone said your video yesterday was fire. It'll be hard to top it, but I'm sure you will. Take care. Well, thank you so much. Who was that? Thank you, Amistry. I appreciate you. I'm going to read this real quick. Someone said the Republicans had 3 branches of government for 2 years. Why didn't he stop big tech? I've been trying to push that narrative for a year. You know, I feel like it's all a show. I'm not trying to be mean, but once Republicans realize that it's a show, it's going to, the whole culture of Republican base is going to change. Right now, we've made a lot of progress, but I really think the future of America and the conservative party is if conservatives realize that Trump's just doing a dance versus if they just beg for 2020 back. I can't process why people would want that. They're like, we need to return to what we had. I'm like, dude, Trump proved that he wasn't competent and capable of keeping the country open. And even if he made a mistake, okay, what's his rhetoric now? His rhetoric sucks now. He's like trapped in a different realm that isn't, you get what I'm saying? So I think if people realize this, it's a promising future, but we have a base who's following a leader who doesn't even echo the views that they have. Most of his base that will go to these rallies do not agree with his Operation Warp Speed chilling, but they keep following. But it's okay. You get it. Do I ever think we'll see a sequel to Avatar? I don't know. Someone said, I'd love to see the pros and cons of what President Trump accomplished. I mean, it's funny because if you go to his website, he has a list of them, and a lot of them were either completely destroyed by the pandemic or it's like him bragging about Operation Warp Speed. I would say this is my list. I mean, this is not worth much, but my list of pros, I'm going to name the pros of Trump. Culturally, Trump shifted the culture. That to me is huge. He challenged the media and he shifted the culture. He made millions of Republicans feel like they weren't just going to play this little Mitt Romney game, which is huge. He made millions of conservatives realize that the media was as fake as it was. He got millions of people to wake up to this stuff. So culturally, Trump had such a big impact. And this is not even politically. Culturally, I think, and media-wise and mentally, his awakening was bigger than any policy that he probably did. on that note, policy wise, I think federal judges is huge. And depending how good or not these Supreme Court judges are, that's pretty big. The judges, because the people like George Soros, it's not a conspiracy theory, just look at it. He does stuff locally. You know what I'm saying? He loves to get a judge and local stuff. So when Trump was in, they got a lot of federal judges, and I don't know about local, but that impact that he had, I think was big. In Syria, I think he helped Syria a lot. He cut a multi-billion-dollar like deep state or CIA, whatever you want to call it, program where they were funding rebel groups in Syria. He helped take the pressure off Syria, I think, and if not for that, it might have ended up like Libya. So I think Trump had a huge impact there, even though he kind of pushed the same agenda. That initial letting off them a little bit, I think, probably saved a lot of people in Syria. So, judges, culturally, media-wise, I think that was all important. And then all this other here's the problem though. All these other accomplishments he was touting, it all got wiped away by the pandemic. So I just told you the pros and what I appreciate. Black unemployment, Hispanic unemployment. I mean, he screwed all that up with the pandemic. So, he's not conservative fiscally. He woke a lot of people up, but then he also, didn't really do anything, like, I don't think politically to stop that stuff. So I think those are his big accomplishments, and his cons, I would say, if you look at where he left the country after the pandemic, you got to say it was further left than Obama and Clinton. I mean, trillions of dollars of printing money. That's not conservative at all. Lockdowns, the removal of our First Amendment, big tech took over, and they had like someone said, the House, the Senate, and the presidency. So, on one hand, he did a lot culturally, and also, I think judges-wise. At the end of his presidency, though, I think a lot of his accomplishments economically just got washed away, and he just started selling a vaccine. So it is quite the tragedy at the end, but there's definitely pros and cons. I don't want to take away what he did do. I can't follow a guy who's selling a product that's being forced down kids' throats, and he's not even going to act like it's happening or say anything. I'll tell you what, if they ever do what they did to the J&J vaccine, which was temporarily halted it because they felt like they had to, Trump will tell them not to. He's not on your side. He's not on the side of America. He's on the side of the vaccine manufacturers. He's like, get that J&J one out, get it back, get it back, get it back. And it's like, bro, this is not my guy. You know what I'm saying? So he did a lot, and that to me was just like, it just really kind of threw it off for. Someone said he vetoed the budget in 2017. The Dems went insane. Yeah, it's it's not a fun place to be, I'm sure, in politics. Dukes said, please give the recent Dark Horse podcast a peep so you can share this info. The jab is toast. I'll check it out. I'm not a big critic. Thank you for the super chat. I'm not a big critic. When Trump was doing stuff, you never heard me criticize him until 2020. I mean, I would say I didn't agree with this or that, but I'm a thoughtful person. I don't have these crazy expectations. Oh my God, Trump saved my life. He was doing enough. In 2020, different story. And now I'm just not into the whole salesman skit he's doing. But besides that, I don't like to nitpick on things when they're, not that important. But to me, like Black Mirror cyborg world where there's cardboard cutouts instead of fans and I can't go on a cruise, it's not a small thing. It's not like, oh, it's like, no, it's not it. All right, one more. I got to go. Someone said, you think you know everything? Not at all, Soho. Soho, let me know what you think. Since you think that I think I know everything and I don't think I know everything. Someone said, go on lockdown then? I don't know what you mean, Soho. Let me know what do you think, Soho? Since you're mad in the comments, I'll give you. What's my opinion on Justin Trudeau? Just like a traditional puppet. Soho said, you sound like you do. Well, what do you think, Soho? I don't know anything. I don't know everything. So you think I know everything? I don't think I know everything. So I want to know, what do you think? What do you think's going on? Because, I value you, Soho. I want to hear your opinion. Since you think I'm a know-it-all, I want to know what you know. Someone said we aren't on lockdowns because of the vaccines. I didn't specifically say that, but if you think the lockdowns and vaccines are separate, like that this was just completely random and he's brought them in to say, I think I would say you're a little naive, but to each their own. Someone said unblock my IG. I don't even know who you are. Holly said people get more passionate about defending Trump than they are about defending their kids against communism. That's a perfect quote. Thank you, Holly. I agree. I think if if his supporters were that passionate against protecting their kids from communism, yeah, none of this would be a lot easier to get rid of. Would I ever tell Trump what you think to his face? I would want to. I would love to interview Trump. And that's one of my kind of, I won't say beef, but, we look at left wing, and I said this in my last video, but we look at left wing news and all they do is softball Joe Biden. Oh, Joe Biden, what kind of ice cream are you eating? Chocolate chip. Oh my God, Joe Biden's eating chocolate ice cream. It's like, dude, I can't stand left wing journalists because they don't ask Biden barely any tough questions. But here's the thing. This is why people don't like politics. Do conservatives ask Trump any real questions? The only person I've ever heard Trump ask a real question was Laura Ingraham. One time, Laura Ingraham was talking about H-1B visas. And this is when I first realized that when Trump lies, he's a really good liar, because I loved Trump at the time. And Laura Ingraham said, why are you doing H-1B visas? Even Bernie Sanders used to be against them. You used to be against them. This is not America first. You're going to replace American tech workers with people from overseas and lower wages. And he kept selling a shitty policy to Laura Ingraham, and she kept pushing back and she kept pushing back. And he was like, and she said, we're probably not going to agree on this. And he's like, no, it's good. We need to get the best skilled workers over here. And she's like, no, this is not a good policy. This is replacing American workers. But that's the only time I've ever heard her. So would I say this to Trump's face? Of course. I mean, probably a little nicer, to be quite frank. But, I wouldn't come in and start being rude to him or anything like a left-wing journalist. But I would say, I would ask him about Operation Warp Speed. I would ask him about the lockdown. I would ask him about the anti-Semitism speech bills. I would ask him, why didn't he fight big tech in 2016 through 2018 when his supporters were getting banned and they had more power? I would ask him all these questions. When did you have the change of heart from your, before the election when you were going to do a council with? I would love to ask him all these questions. And if I ever interviewed Trump, you're damn right I would ask him these questions. I don't think I would be mean about it. Maybe I'd call him a vaccine salesman if it was funny. But, if you listen to any right-winger interview Trump, it's all it's like a left-winger interviewing Biden. They're just drooling over him. Oh, my God, you're the best. You saved the world. Oh, my God, it's Fauci. So that's the problem with politics, right? You have left-wingers who never gave Trump a fair shake, who act like slobber over Joe Biden like an ice cream cone. And then you go to the right wing, and it's the script is flipped. You have right wingers who slobber over Trump like an ice cream cone, and I would say they do a better job asking questions to the left wing politicians. But that's like the cultism of politics, Fauci and Trump, and you have like religions based on these political figures, and that it skews the narrative. You have two sides, right? So now you have the Trump side or the Fauci side. You have the left side or the right side. And the left-wing politicians and journalists act crazy. And then the right-wing ones, sometimes they act cool, sometimes they softball. But that's where we are. You only have two options. And that's what confuses people, because then if you choose something else, they'll be like, well, what do you vote for Biden? No. Well, what do you want this? And you're like, no. But if this is the game they're playing, this is why they always win, They give you two people, but those two people will still do all these things that you don't want them to do and you didn't vote for them for, and then you make excuses for it like they have to do it. Okay, I agree, I guess. So they have to do it. So what's the point? Then why should we even pay attention? And if we do pay attention, I think you shouldn't feel bad about disagreeing, or, it's like it shouldn't make you feel a certain way if someone does something that you don't like. You could be like, I don't like that, especially the lockdown. Listen, I pay taxes. I pay 10, 20, 30, 40. I don't know how many taxes I pay. I pay the taxes I'm supposed to pay. I don't even complain about that. I mean, yeah, I think taxes are a scam. I'm kind of libertarian, but I pay my taxes. I do my thing. When you lock the country down, I took this very personally. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I'm already a tax-paying citizen. I'm already getting scammed. I'm already getting robbed. And now you're going to take away cruises and travel and international travel. Now you're going to take away gyms. Now you're going to, put capacity events. You're going to replace me with a cardboard cutout at a sports game. Now you're going to sell vaccines down my throat, and you're not even going to say anything as a Republican for the people being forced and coerced them. I took it kind of personally, not like, oh my God, it's all about me. But to me, this is not your average, politicians are scamming us. Honestly, I feel like Trump scammed us just as much as Bush or Obama scammed us with the war and the Obamacare. Like the lockdowns might have even been worse, than those two things. So I don't think I'm overreacting. I'm not saying this as a know-it-all. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm a tax-paying citizen. I'm somebody who pays God knows how many taxes. And, in return, what do I get? At least I expect to be left alone. I'm not a criminal. I'm not out here committing violent crime or doing anything crazy. I pay however many taxes I pay. The least you could do when you take my money is leave me alone. But last year, we didn't get left alone. Soho said you were a scam. Soho, what are you so mad about, bro? Tell me what's on your mind, because I don't know. I felt like what I just said the last 2 minutes was pretty straightforward. What are you so mad about? What do you not like about me? What do you want? What bothered you? Show me on the doll what bothered you. That's just how I feel. I pay taxes, and when I pay taxes and I lose things, I feel a certain way. When I turn into a second-tier citizen slave and my taxes go up, I don't think that's a fair transaction. I'm paying more to get treated worse. That doesn't sound fair to me. I can't go on a cruise now. What's the point of having money if I can't do anything with it? Okay, I have money, so I have to get treated like an animal anywhere. I don't want to have, obviously I want to have money, but it's like, doesn't matter how wealthy you are. If everywhere you go, put a mask on, do this, do that. They've sucked humanity. The coffee shop is fun. Going on vacation is fun. It's not fun if there's no human nature. Now everybody's got a mask on, and you get what I'm saying? I feel a certain way about this. So I'm not trying to overdo it. I think this how most people should feel. Someone said my IG is Mike Stees 28. Mike, I don't know why I blocked you. I don't know what happened. Soho said, I think for myself, I'm glad you do. What? The left is increasing taxes. Soho, I hear you, brother. I vote Republican. I'm a Republican voter. Okay, I voted for Trump, but you got to understand this is the game they're playing. Soho, brother or sister, if you're a girl, they got the left and they got the right. They're both hiking up taxes. Is the right better? Of course. But when Trump and McConnell sign off on the CARES Act, it was Trump and McConnell who merged with the Democrats to print trillions of dollars. The only Republican who stood up against it was Thomas Massie. Trump said, kick him out of the Republican Party. Trump wanted to kick out the only integrity-filled Republican who said, don't print trillions of dollars. So in your head, it's only the Democrats doing that, but that's what I'm saying, Soho. I'm going to call you Soho House because that's the thing in LA, Soho House, where the celebrities go. And, I've been there once. It's not my thing, but a girl I knew was there. Anyway, too much information. I'm going to call you Soho House. Soho House, that's what I'm trying to say. The Democrats are worse, but the Republicans are just following them. So it's not like, oh, the left did the lockdown. No, they all did. It's just the left goes further, and then the right goes with them. And then 5 months later, the right goes so far left that it doesn't even make sense anymore. But they sell you on, well, at least we're not the left. It's like, yeah, but you're worse than the left used to be. It's like the right of last year is worse than the left was 5 years ago. I'm trying to read your comments, so hold on. Let me see. Someone said, why is no one talking about anti-white racism other than Jesse Lee Peterson? Jesse Lee Peterson's the last of a dying breed, but no, there are people talking about it. It's just most people who talk about anti-white racism are getting banned. Jesse Lee just doesn't get banned because he's a 70-year-old black dude, so it's hard to pin him as a white supremacist when he's black. If Jesse was white, bro, they'd freak out so much hard. They hate Jesse anyway, but it's like, they can't really put a finger on Jesse because he's a 70-year-old black dude, who grew up on a plantation. So it's hard for them to call him a white supremacist. But No, there are people who talk about anti-white racism, but most of them are banned. People like Nick Fuentes, Vincent James, Patrick Howley, National File reporter, great reporter. He talks about it quite often. There are people, but it's not a main. It's not a Republican Party. It's a tricky thing to talk about because they crack down so hard on you. So there are people who talk about it. It's just not that common. Someone said Jesse lived it. No, Jesse's awesome. They hate Jesse so much, but it confuses them because he's like, I grew up on a plantation in under Jim Crow. So Jesse's got quite the story, man. He's a great man. Yeah, he's very cool. All right, I overstayed my welcome. I gotta take off. Someone said, "LOL, bro. Nick Fuentes is not a white supremacist." I never said he was. People ask me who talks about anti-white racism. I didn't call him a white supremacist. Someone said who talks about anti-white racism. I said Nick Fuentes, Vincent James, Patrick Howley. They're David. What's his name? I follow him on Twitter. What's his name? Dave Riley. There are people who talk about it, but a lot of them are not super. A lot of them got banned off stuff, or they're not super huge names in the Republican Party. I wasn't calling them supremacists. I was just saying they talk about anti-white racism. Someone says, "See, y'all going off topic, and now Anomaly's leaving." I have to leave anyway, but there is no off topic. I don't really. There's no topic in general. Someone said Elijah does. No, it's a tough thing to talk about, but I have a lot of respect for people who go the distance on that topic because that's the point, and I'll end it here. I think on one hand, nobody wants to get banned, nobody wants to get censored, nobody wants to be called names, and that's part of society. Like on a not even talking about in the political right wing sphere, on a ground level sphere, most people are not doing exactly what they want to, but they don't want to lose their position. Dude, the liberals and the Marxists are taking over so much. Like a lot of companies are crazy. Like most people that are conservative, they're being quiet wherever they are because the Marxists are really taking over corporate America. On that note, in the political right-wing sphere, if you're going to go hard at a topic like anti-white racism, like Tucker Carlson did once, the whole system really collapses on you. So, on one hand, a lot of Republicans are just playing this fair weather act like, oh man, we're going to Operation Warp Speed and lock. They're playing this game because it's a safe game to play. It's safe to not talk about that. It's safe to lock down. It's safe to rush the vaccine. It's safe to not rock that boat. It's safe to never question the PCR test. It's safe to do all this stuff. It's safe to just become a worse version of the Democrats 4 years ago. It's safe, but this is what I think. Eventually, it's not going to be safe anymore because, once the status quo becomes lockdown and the conversation becomes, when should we free the citizens that we lock down? This game's not going to work. And I think with the racism topic or whatever, or I don't like that word because I think it's overused, but, with people hating certain races and people rigging society against them and making it really impossible to even at least have the First Amendment freedom conversation about it, the Republicans are playing this game where like no one wants to be the nail that sticks out to get hammered down, but eventually it's gonna water down so much that it's not gonna matter. So that's where I see the pendulum swinging. Obviously, social media censorship and stuff, but I do think eventually the left is going to go so far. The hatred and the double standards against white people are going to get so out of proportion where, in general, like I don't like to play the victim or anything, but I'm reading these stories like there's a pregnant woman who got stabbed. There's some guy who was going around shooting people just because they were white. It was literally a racially motivated attack, and it gets no press. If it was the other way around, obviously it would be on television for a year. And also, even if it wasn't that, they would pretend like it was that and then make it into a story. There's violence and there's bad people in every community, but that narrative with the media, with social media, the Republicans are playing a game of, a game of like catch up. They don't create their own narratives. They're chasing the left's narratives. They're afraid to say that, so they just follow that. Like Ronna McDaniel was like, oh my God, it's Pride Month. And it's like, is it though, Ronna McDaniel? Is it Pride Month? Or, it's like, that's the right wing though. They're just following the left's coattails and doing just enough, sending you guys mail like, oh, we're fighting the radical left Marxists. We're fighting China. They're not fighting shit. They're fighting for their salaries, and they're fighting just enough to do just enough. But it's not that I don't appreciate them, because I do. I'm grateful to be in America, and I'm grateful to have the conservative right wing base here. But I think eventually their shtick is going to get old. And Trump rose because he talked the talk, and then he walked the walk, and then he didn't walk the walk. So now his base is looking for someone else to walk the walk. So I think eventually somebody's going to talk that talk and walk that walk, and that leader is going to be very, very popular. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I think people who unabashedly speak raw will build huge audiences. And I'll say this, there's people who've been banned from Facebook. There's people who've been banned from YouTube. There's people who've been banned from Twitter. There's people who've been banned from Instagram who have bigger live streams than Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro do, even though they've been banned. Someone like Nick Fuentes, I bring him up a lot because he's a cultural icon, despite being banned by most of the right wing, despite being banned on the left wing things. He could pull between 5,000 to 15,000 live viewers who are mostly younger kids. So, why is he able to do that off of social media? Why is Owen Benjamin, who got banned off of Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, how does he build his own platform and still pull an audience of thousands of people? People, even though it's not popular in the mainstream sphere or in politics, there's still a large group of people who are looking for something raw, something that goes harder than what's on television. It's like if you see someone funny, like, I want to see someone funnier. If he hits the ball 100 yards, you're like, I want to see someone who hits it 300 yards. So there's always going to be that appeal of somebody who takes it further and says more than someone else is going to say, especially as censorship starts cracking down. There's a need for someone who's not censoring themselves at all. Like, I want to hear the guy who says what they say not to say, like the Jon Stewart on TV, although that's a smaller example of like, oh my God, he talked about the lab leak theory for 2 minutes. You'll never see that on TV again. They'll shut that up quick, but people will look for that. So politically, I think that's the future. Is there will be someone who creates their own narrative, similar in a way that Trump did. I think when he came out, he created his own narrative. He wasn't just riding the GOP coattails. He said, build a wall. He said MAGA. He said make America. That's great branding. Say you love Trump, say you hate Trump. I don't care. His branding is great. Like Trump won the branding. Like, there's never been a brand as strong as MAGA. People are still copying that. There's never been a brand as strong as build a wall. Like, you've never heard that. So that's got to be, now he's selling vaccines. It's disappointing. It's like, at that point, it's like, bro, just chill out on that. But anyway, the next leader, I think, whoever it is, they're going to have a strong brand like that. And it doesn't have to be what everyone else is doing. It doesn't have to be safe. It just has to be real. And once that changes the sphere, because I think this little game that they're playing with COVID is getting old. So I'd love to see someone step in. Like I don't think Ron DeSantis is perfect, but he's definitely rose from here to here for that reason, creating his own narrative, not playing along, creating his own narrative, and that's the future, I think, in general. But let me know what you guys think. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Appreciate y'all for being here. And yeah, I'll be back soon, but I'm not really on vacation. I'll let y'all know eventually, but I'm doing something pretty cool, and I'll let y'all know. And I will have new videos later. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll be back soon.